Hey, this is Samar Newsome, and this is the Musician Shed podcast. Today I have a very dope musician that I got to play with, jazz musician, educator, all the things. He's going to tell you about all the things he's done, though. This is my man, Dave Doc Watson. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how are you? How are you? Thanks to guys like Ray Chew and some of my friends in Canada, I just want you to know they've extended my name.
Okay, what is it now?
So not just is it Dave Doc Watson, it's Dave Can't Stop 100 Watt Sugarfoot Watson.
I like it. Dave Can't Stop 100 Watt Sugarfoot Watson.
Yeah, the Sugarfoot came from Ray.
Nice, man. So tell us about like a little bit how you got started. I mean, tell us what you do first of all.
Okay. Well, I'm a retired music teacher of 26 years.
Yeah.
I've been a professional musician for 40 plus years, and I've been a member of the Chops Horn section, which I now lead for 30 plus years. And my partner in crime, Daryl Dixon, who founded Chops Horns, he and I are still together. And on a side note, we've both outlasted our first marriages. He's married again, and so am I. And we chuckle about that.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's good that y'all lasted at least.
Yeah. That's the point.
I don't know if the wives will appreciate that, but that's all right. That's why they're exes, right? But listen, man, it's a pleasure to have you here. You have a wealth of knowledge in this industry as a player, as an educator. What got you started in, you play trumpet, correct? Saxophone. Okay. Which saxophone?
I play all the saxophones, but I'm known for tenor, baritone, and the flute.
Got you. So now tell me how you get started. How'd you fall in love with music like that?
Well, my dad plays saxophone.
Okay.
And we lived in Jersey City. He used to go out on the road, and when he would come home, he would stand in the corner to practice.
Okay.
And I learned from him later that the reason he did it was because of the bounce back of the sound.
Right.
He felt that it helped him with his tone. So he'd stand in the corner and play, and I was this little 4-year-old, and I would sit on the couch and just chill and listen.
Yeah.
Because I knew when he finished, when he put that horn in the case, before he closed the case, he let me come over and push the buttons, you know? And that was my introduction to music. And I always was fond of wind instruments. Anytime I heard something with any kind of horns, it would always catch my ear.
That's amazing. And that's a good start. I mean, my mom was an organist. So I was sitting at her feet in church, just, absorbing. So and you catch a lot in that. You're just not even trying to.
Right.
You're just doing it. So what about like, how did you get started now when you actually picked up the instrument?
Oh, okay. In my town I lived, I moved from Bayonne to Jersey City when my parents broke up, and I lived 3 years with my father's grandmother, and she's the one that slapped the brother in shape.
Okay.
Sent me to school every day in my shirt and tie, and you had to change your clothes when you came home. You know, it was one of those scenes.
Different clothes.
Yeah. Your play clothes and your school clothes.
Yeah.
And my school buddies, during the summer program, they were giving out instruments.
Okay.
And they had instrument summer programs. So the guys said, let's form a band. Yeah. So everybody picked what they wanted to play. And I picked the saxophone.
Of course.
We all went to the school, number 2 school, and we all got our instruments and we made it through the summer program. At the end of the summer program, all of the cats gave their instruments back except me. I held on to it, and I got involved with Mr. Amato, I think it was, that next school year to play in his orchestra. And I was playing alto saxophone for quite a while, through school. But I didn't really consider music kind of as a career until I got to high school.
Wow.
And I also sang. I was kind of in the choir, and I played in the band. And my band director, Zavin Mazmanian, he was a little weird-looking guy with a short arm, but he was brilliant.
Wow.
And he had a genuine love for all of his students, and he gave me the bug.
Nice. And we, as educators, you're an educator too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that you've inspired some of your students, same like I've seen along my journey as well. And we're not trying to. We're just doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? You just being yourself and showing the most excellent opportunities that are out there for our kids, and then they just grab it.
No, I agree. I was lucky enough to have a musical director, Miss Joan Rosen, who used to always say, I'm an arts advocate. Anytime she got in front of a mic, you knew those were the words coming out of her mouth. Hi, my name is Joan Rosen. I'm an arts advocate.
Wow.
She saw something in me. Because I had been out on the road with the police, so I came home wearing leather pants. Education wasn't really something I wanted to do. But my father instilled in me, look, if you go to college, why get a performance degree? Because when you go to audition for a gig, you don't pull out
the degree and say, I can perform. Yeah, exactly.
Say, look, I can play. No, they say, put that horn in your mouth, man.
Let me see what you got.
Yeah. So he always felt that education was a good way, in his mind and in a lot of people's mind, as something to fall back on.
Right.
Because to be honest, I don't know a lot of musicians that said early part in their career that, you know what, I don't want to play. I want to go help kids.
Right. Right.
My vibe, and probably yours as well, was to get out there.
Yeah.
And after I got out there and, toured with the Police and recorded with the Rolling Stones, the first in-house rap horn section for Sugar Hill Records. We did Sugar Hill, Grandmaster Flash, Sequence, West Street Mob.
Wow.
We were like the Motown guys.
Yeah.
But at Sugar Hill with Brass and Steel. Wood, Brass and Steel was the rhythm section cats, Duck, Skip, and those guys. We were an in-house group. So we did all of this. Then when my performing career had a lull, I decided to become a substitute teacher.
Right.
And when I got to the school and met some of these kids and saw the whole scene, Joan Rosen mentioned, she said, our band director is leaving. And, would you be interested in replacing him? So I did. Mm-hmm. Had been away from college for 6 years.
Okay.
So, they give you all these instrument classes where you learn the woodwinds and the brass and the percussion methods. Yeah. Percussion, all that stuff. Man, I had to get out my books. What's a trumpet fingering? So I did. And she said something to me that always stuck. She said, the reason I hired you, Dave, is because your heart is in the right place. And if you work for me, I know you're going to be here for the kids.
Right.
And that's what a lot of folks are forgetting.
Yeah.
When you're a teacher, you're not there to say, I played with this one. Right. You're there to show them that you did all of these things, but also nurture them in a way to give them the bug that you have.
Absolutely. Inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Joan let me start one of 3 in the state at the time, a bona fide jazz class.
Wow.
5 days a week.
Wow.
I got to meet with my jazz band in a real class, not at a morning or after school rehearsal.
Right.
Because y'all know about that. Your band directors out there.
Yeah.
You can't
it's just
do it.
Extra, yes.
Yeah, always extra. So I worked it out. So I had a theory day, I had a music history day, I had an improv day, and I had 2 days that we worked on charts.
Nice.
Now, something you mentioned when we first started talking was how you give things to students and don't realize, how that's going. And what happened was All of the kids in the class got the bug. I had this little short girl playing baritone sax. She didn't understand reading, but while she was in that class, the light bulb went off and she finally understood, oh, that's what happens when my foot goes up and down.
Right.
I'm like, duh. Yeah. So that was, her. But out of 12 kids, man, 6 of them became music teachers.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Man, and I'm so proud to say that they did. And one of them, Vinny Downs, plug, he's working as a classical guitarist at Bayonne High School.
Wow.
And the dude's got 5 records out.
Wow.
And you can't get any prouder than that.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how that transpired. And then when I stayed at Bayonne, the high school I went to, for 10 years. And you don't know what it's like going back to your alma mater and picking through the uniforms and finding yours.
Wow.
That was the thing. Yeah, I fit it for about 1 year. But yeah. So I stayed there for 10 years. Then I went to Harrison because I was married to the principal secretary. And when we kind of broke up, she was there longer than me. And I thought it was weird having a Ms. Watson downstairs and a Mr. Watson upstairs.
Yes.
So I did the gentlemanly thing and left. And I wound up in Harrison.
Okay.
Stayed there for 8 years. And I did everything for that program. Now in Bayonne, there were 3 other music teachers, and I only had a certain amount to do. When I got to Harrison, I was the only music teacher.
Okay.
So the 10 years of working in Bayonne and watching these other teachers, I learned so much. So now I was able to teach chorus, all instrumental groups, general music history. But at Bayonne, there was a choral director, Lydia Magali, who I would call when I was in Harrison. Mm-hmm. Yo, what? Start with this song, do this. And sometimes you think you have a handicap, but that handicap can turn out to be something that's worthwhile. Mm-hmm. And my handicap was, which is something that you do that I wish I could do, was play piano.
Oh, yeah.
You got piano chops. I didn't have piano chops. And now I got a choir. So how am I going to sit behind a piano? So Lydia mentioned, she said, Dave, do a cappella tunes.
You can do that too. Yeah.
Don't worry about playing. Do a cappella tunes. And what it did for me was it helped me teach these kids intonation. Yep. They had to hold their notes because the piano wasn't helping them.
Yeah.
And they became better singers.
Yeah. Absolutely, because they had to use their ears.
Yeah, so my handicap became something kind of positive. And the other thing I did was, because I was living in Bayonne and driving to Harrison, you guys know that trip to work, you got to have some sounds on, right? I would put on songs that I wanted to learn in other languages.
Oh, wow.
Like Portuguese, French, Spanish, and as I would go to school, Bésame mucho, como si fueras. I started learning the words of all of these different languages. And once my kids started singing in these different languages, there was no stopping them.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, one thing that stands out in those stories is, like you said, being innovative in like you call it handicap, but like whatever it is that you have, using what you have to its best and using as much of it as you can. I mean, notes, singing, how to teach those things, but without the piano, you are forced to find something else. And that, some people could see that challenge and just kind of give up and say, I can't do this. What's another like challenge or trial? Because that would be one as a teacher, but what's a trial like as a working musician that you might have had to overcome? Well,
one was being able to play in tune and get a good sound, because as I was teaching, I would go to some of these jazz conventions and you'd see cats burning, playing 1,000 notes, beautiful lines, but it sounded like you were stepping on a cat's tail. You know, they didn't have the sound.
Right.
And then I'd hear somebody like Kirk Whalum that would play 4 notes.
Yeah.
And make you want to throw your hat off. Like, because of the sound quality.
Because of the tone. Yeah.
Tone. So listening to guys like him, Grover Washington, oh man, I got a long list. You'll be here all day. These were the guys that I kind of keyed in on their sound. So I think that was one of my first obstacles. Mm-hmm. And my second obstacle was learning how to read music.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Because I grew up right next to Kool and the Gang. They were in Jersey City. I was in Bayonne. And Amir Bayan, one of the younger ones, was a guitar player. He did a lot of writing, and I went to see him play, and he's playing these lush chords, but I'm looking at his fingers, and he's only playing 3 notes.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, how can you get so much sound? He said, man, you need the colored notes. I don't need all of the notes that the piano plays.
Right.
I don't need the root.
Color. Yeah.
I don't need the 5th.
Yeah.
I need that 3rd and that 7 and that 9.
Yeah.
You know, to give it the color.
Yeah.
And a light bulb went on him. That was another moment.
Yeah.
It was like, but he couldn't read any music.
Wow.
He was a great player, but he couldn't read. So I noticed the type of gigs that he did, and I noticed the type of gigs that he couldn't do.
Right.
Because he couldn't read. But there are a lot of guys, and I'm going to say this, there's a lot of y'all out there that can't read, but you are a playing fool.
Yeah.
You know? So much respect for that. But excuse me, from a horn player's standpoint, if you learn how to read, it opens up so many more gifts for you and types of work.
Yeah.
I never would have been an in-house horn guy for Ray Chu from the Apollo.
Right.
He never would have hired Chops if we couldn't read.
Right.
The wedding bands.
Yeah.
The wedding bands had books.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be able to read that stuff.
And right on the spot. Like, you're just showing up to the gig and reading it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother story, getting into learning how to sight read, where, you know, if there's a little fly mess on there, you can read that. Wait a minute.
That was a stain.
Yeah, that was a stain. I wasn't supposed to play that note. So that's a whole nother thing. So I think those were 2 main obstacles.
Yeah.
And God blessed me with companions. Some dudes are out there on their own.
Yeah.
You know,
it's tough,
and it's difficult. I had Daryl Dixon, Melvin L., and Marvin Daniels, 3 members of Chops Horns. And these cats, I had a buffer. I had people to lean on. And that helped me get to where I am today.
For sure.
You know?
Mean, that's also something that we talk about, collaboration. Like, that's just almost a lost art in the day of bedroom producers and the day of all those things. But you're always going to need some collaboration just for networking purposes.
Of course.
For testing, seeing what's good, what's not good. And really just knowing where you are, sharpening your iron, you know, as the Bible says.
Yeah.
That's great. What was your favorite moment, your highlight of your career, like as of what you've done today?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because I've been involved in a lot of different things, but one of my early highlights was, I mentioned when I was working with Bayonne, my jazz band used to go to specific competitions. And this one was at Carteret High School every year. And the best bands from the state came there. And the smallest band was 18 pieces.
Wow.
5 saxes, 4 trombones, 4 trumpets, full rhythm section. And I came in there my first year with 4 saxophones, 1 trombone, 3 trumpets, and a rhythm section.
Wow.
Out of 13 bands, we came in 13th.
Wow.
Okay. And so I'm saying, okay, like you said about finding strength in what I call my weakness,
Right.
you call innovation.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I did was I started finding songs that I liked, and I would open up their score and I would rewrite it for a smaller group. Like a lot of times in the trombone section, the first and second trombones are playing stuff, and the third and fourth trombone are usually doubling the fourth trumpet or one of the saxophones.
Right.
So I would throw out all of the doubling parts and have all of the major parts in there.
So you get all of those harmonies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I would pick music like from a clarinetist, Eddie Daniels, and I would transcribe his solo. And I had this girl, Margaret, that was a great clarinetist. So I remember giving her a solo that took her 2 years to learn.
Wow.
You know, but she worked on it, and I did stuff like that.
Right.
And I would do Tower of Power.
Okay.
You know,
big horn, big horn stuff.
kind of funky kind of stuff. And these all these other bands were swinging.
Yeah.
They weren't funking yet. They are now.
Yeah.
But they weren't back then. So that was we kept doing that, and we went from 13th to 9th to 6th to first place.
Wow.
We won that competition.
Amazing.
And it was a highlight in my teaching career. Now, for my musical playing career, dude, there's a long list, but I have to say, when I was touring with Alicia Keys, Ray Chu was orchestrating some of her music.
Okay.
And we were going to be at the Hollywood Bowl.
Nice. In Cali.
And he orchestrated her entire show because it was a swingy kind of show. We had the white suits, and she came out like Billie Holiday.
Okay.
And great tour. And I also got to MC that. I would come out in the beginning of the tour, and that's where I got the name Sugarfoot, because I would dance my way off. But Ray Chu orchestrated her show for a 52-piece orchestra.
Wow.
Right? And in her show, she had a costume change, and I got to play a solo saxophone thing, Sunny or one of those tunes, and I'd hit the melody, and I'd hear them strings behind me.
Yeah.
Ray wrote the hell out of that, man.
Oh, yeah.
And because, he had been to a lot of shows, he knew what I was going to play, and I'm one of those guys. When I'm doing a show, I usually play the same kind of stuff to keep it consistent.
Keep it consistent because it's a tour, so it's not like one show.
Right. And a lot of people don't realize when you spend all that money on a ticket for a show, you don't want to say, oh man, he sounded better last night.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You want that consistency. And I developed that through touring, by the way.
Yeah.
So that was one of my big moments, because I remember feeling when I came off stage, and I know this might sound dark, but when I came off stage, if somebody would have put a gun to my head, I would have said, I'm good, man. I've lived my life. To be in a solo situation with the spotlight, with a 53-piece orchestra behind you, on tour with Alicia Keys.
That's amazing.
That was definitely one of my highlights. And let me see if I can give you one more. Recording for the Rolling Stones and sitting down in the control room with Mick Jagger, and he saying he wanted a tenor solo on this thing, and you're standing there and he's standing where you are looking at your bell and you trying to give him what he wants. That was another highlight. And most of my big highlights come from working with chops, horns, and being an in-house horn section for Ray Chu for almost 12 years at the Apollo.
Yeah.
We did a show for Stevie Wonder. I mean, and 90% of the black R&B artists came through the Apollo.
Yeah.
So we got to play behind them. And Stevie, they did a show for Stevie, and Chick Corea was on the show.
Oh, wow.
And Tony Bennett was on this show. And I remember Chick going off on one of these songs, and Stevie grabbed his harmonica, and the two of them went in. And he looked around, at the rest of the band, like, what, y'all gonna play? We were scared. You hear me? These brothers were hitting so hard that we didn't want to jump in, but obviously the rhythm section did. And those were moments to remember.
That's amazing. That's great, man. What was a time in your career where you had to pivot? Like things like you mentioned it before, like how you got into teaching. Mm-hmm. Was that like the main place where you figure like you had to just change course, or is there another thing that happened like that?
Well, touring with Alicia, MTV brought us all to China.
Okay.
14 hours on the plane. So touring ain't all what it's made up to be. It's hard work. So we get there and, we have our tour books. We're getting ready to do an Asian tour. And her financial manager, Dave, sits me and a keyboard player down and says, by the way, MTV paid to get you guys here for these 2 shows. Mm-hmm. After that, we're sending you guys home.
Wow.
It's like, what? I got my tour book, man. Well, the buses are smaller and yada, yada, yada. He gave us a bunch of lip service. The truth to the matter is he had to make his job seem worthwhile because he wanted to save her money.
Right.
And from his standpoint, which I can understand, you got 2 extra musicians you're paying.
Yeah.
And you already have a musical director, Andre, that plays killer piano.
Yeah.
You play piano.
Right.
And you don't have any horns on your record. So why do you need this guy dancing around playing saxophone? So they sent us home.
Wow.
So I'm on the plane, going home. Had left my teaching job, So I was on tour with them for over a year. So my teaching job was definitely gone.
Yeah.
And I'm on the plane coming home, and I gotta think about the relationship that I have with God. My man, when I pray hard enough, and I know a lot of people will agree, when you pray, it's like your subconscious sometimes talks back to you.
Yeah.
And for me, that's my man upstairs. So before I left to go on tour, my father was deathly ill. I only had one sister at home to look after him, which she did a marvelous job. And I prayed. I said, man, should I leave my father to go on tour with Alicia? Come on. I need some help. And God said, go, and I got your back.
Oh.
Okay. Ask my dad. He said, well, she's young, but I've been looking. She's on television a lot. I think you should go. Yeah. I think you should go. Him being a musician. All right. So I go on tour. And now, a year later, I'm on the plane.
Yeah.
14 hours back. And I get a quiet moment. And I'm all upset, man. What kind of work? What am I going to do? And God said, wait a minute. He said, when you went on tour, did I say Alicia Keys had your back? Or I had your back?
Wow.
I said, God, you're right. You said so. I did one of these. I said, well, I guess I'm going to be all right. Good. Yeah. But I didn't know the future. And that's something very difficult for musicians, not knowing what the next thing is.
Yeah.
I get home. I wind up going to church, and this is a quick story. They had a special speaker there, and they showed a video of our pastor. And the speaker said, the pastor's got the same suit on that he had in this video. He said, the first 10 people that come up here and put $100 in my hand, you're Baptist, y'all know about this, put $100 in my hand, I'm going to give you a special blessing. So I looked in my wallet. I had $130, but one of them was $100 bill. So I said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to step out on faith.
Let me bless this.
Yeah, let me bless it. Because the minister, I loved him.
Right. So
give him the $100 bill. 2 days later, I got a phone call from a band leader in Jersey, Jeff Dieterle's trombone player. And he says, Dave, I heard you're off the road. My sax guy's messing up. I got 10 jobs. you think you could take these 10 jobs? Then I'm thinking, I said, what do they always say? If you give something up, God's going to give it back to you tenfold.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was a moment. So that's what happened. Came off the road. Once people knew I was home, I started filling up my calendar.
Nah, that's amazing. That's how it happens too.
Yeah.
Once people know, they know who you are, and they know what you do. So at the end of the day,
yeah. But that's one thing I want to caution you, guys that want to tour. Realize once you start touring, you are out of the pocket from all of the work that you have at home. And this is a true statement. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? And then when you come back off tour 3 months later, folks is like, Dave who?
Right. Like they forgot about you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Now what's I love that. What's been your go-to routine to like warming up your chops or getting yourself to where you need to be for tour, or when you were teaching young people? Like, what's the routine you teach them, or like I said, you still do to this day?
Well, two main things, and they're going to sound corny, I'm telling you now. One is, if you drink or do drugs, you got to get away from that. Because it's not going to help you in the long run. And it might feel good at the time, but it's not going to help you. And number two is taking your ass to bed. Folks want to stay out finger popping on that. Oh, I'm on a tour. Oh, we got parties every night. I'm going every night. Oh, because I did that with the Police. 24 years old, and I'm out on tour. Man, I partied every night till about 3 months went by, and I'm combing my hair, looking in the mirror, seeing little blue lines starting to go on my face. Wow. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm telling you from experience. Obviously, I'm not going to go into all of that, but I will tell you, stay away from the drugs and get your rest. Those are the main two things. And the horn players, it's about long tones, and everybody tells you that. You go to any YouTube thing, they all say play long tones, but what they don't tell you is playing long tones. What kind of songs have long tones in it?
Classical.
What else?
Jazz.
Not a style of music.
Okay, what particular?
Yeah. See, I'm putting him on the spot now.
You want to ask me questions? What songs have long tones? I would say vocal songs, singers.
Vocal songs, but the main answer I was looking for, which you didn't give me, by the way.
I failed the test.
Is ballads.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was my thing. And another quick story. Ray Chu's wife, Vivian, is an advocate of music education. And she has a thing called, I think it's called Power to Inspire.
Okay.
And what that organization does is, I don't know where they get their funding from, but they get funding to sponsor 10 to 20 musicians between the ages of 18 and 23.
Oh, wow.
Right? You fill out the application, do whatever. Once you are accepted into the program, what she does, because she's been in the business forever, and with her contacts and Ray's contacts, they call the folks that they know.
Wow.
that are doing it.
Yeah.
And say, yo, I need to set up interview with you, what do you call it? FaceTime, or what's the other thing? They don't call it FaceTime. Yeah, okay. FaceTime with you. And what they do is they set that time up. You have a subject that you're talking about. Then all of the people signed up for that class, they sit and they watch
like a master class.
Yes. Yeah. And not only do they watch it, those classes are recorded.
Wow.
So for the first 3 years, she used me as a mentor.
Nice.
And I would get to talk to the kids. Something about my personality. So I had this one particular student that I happened to meet at a gig because Chops Horns, we put our own band together. We did some gigs in Long Island, and the guy, Everton Braley, had a young group. He would teach the little guys, and there was this 13-year-old saxophone player there. And man, that dude was asking me 1,001 questions. Well, how do you do this? And what do you do this? I said, this dude is going to play.
Right.
So few years pass. He's 18 or 19 now. And he got into to Vivian's Power to Inspire, right?
Wow.
So he and I hit it off. His name is Luke Walden, right? And after the thing was over, Vivian told us, she said, if you want to continue with some of these students, you can.
Right.
We can't pay you.
Right.
But if you want to help these kids out. Right. So Luke and I connected.
Right.
And I gave him some private lessons. And we were talking, this all comes back to the long tones.
Yeah.
Now I can finish that part of the conversation. Yeah. So I'm telling him long tones. And he's like, man, that's like watching paint dry. Come on. I said, okay, all right. I'm going to give you a couple ballads. And the first ballad I gave him was Amazing Grace. Okay. And he learned it. And every time he would play it, I said, play it slower.
Yeah.
Played it, no, slower than that. Kids, they're in a hurry. So now, after a few lessons, he tells me, I got into Berkeley in Boston. Yeah. So you don't need me anymore. You going to Berkeley. They'll have all the teachers.
They're going to take care of you.
Yeah, you have all the teachers you need. So we kind of parted ways.
Right.
So when he's a senior at Berkeley, he hits me up and say, yo, Doc, I'm working on some original material.
Wow. And
can you give me some pointers on things I could do, things not to do? So we went through all of that. And he always would invite me to his shows. 2 weeks ago, he had a show at the Cutting Room.
Wow.
And he invited me. He said, oh, it's an original show. You got to come out. He played all original music. I didn't have any buttons on my shirt that night, but if I would, they would have popped off. So proud of this guy.
Wow.
And his tone quality, everything was beautiful. His ideas, he had a killer rhythm section, which we spoke about afterwards. I kind of threw them a couple pointers to increase what they do with him, because they he's the star. You got to push him out there.
Yeah.
The dude starts the show off from the side of the stage, and the rhythm section's on stage, and he starts playing this ballad. Amazing Grace.
Right.
Dude,
that's amazing.
Tear came down my eye. Come on. He was 19. Now he's, 28,
right,
29.
Right.
And he still remembered that.
Wow.
And I said, man, you did Amazing Grace. He said, you know what else? You taught me about rotating reeds. I still do that.
Wow.
So back to what you said at the beginning of this interview. You never know who you're going to influence.
Yeah.
But it all comes, folks, from a love of what you do.
Absolutely.
And that's the same way about having the same kind of love for God. When you have that, people feel, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But there's something that they feel from you. And if they ask you and you tell them, sometimes that helps them get on a good path. So,
no, that's right.
Yeah.
One last question, man.
Okay.
What if you could go back and talk to your starting off music self from right now, what you know now? What's some advice you would give yourself?
I would give myself advice that my father tried to give me, but I was too cool to listen. And that advice was transcribing solos. Don't go to YouTube and buy the book with all the transcribing solos. Get out a pen and paper and sit down and learn every note. Yeah. Because what it does, which I know now, which when I was 18 or 19, my dad told me to do it. Listen to my excuse. Yo, Pops, I don't want to sound like anybody else. I want to be an original. Yeah, I want to have my own. And he laughed and said, okay, son, go ahead. Go get your own. But the whole thing is, and it's kind of like learning another language. You got to know how sentences are put together. You got to know which words your voice goes up and when they go down.
Yeah.
You can't learn that in music without copying the masters. Now, after you copy a solo and it becomes internal, and if you regurgitate some of that stuff on stage, what's going to happen is you're not going to play it just like my man played it.
Right.
You know, Dexter Gordon was my guy. He's my first guy. It was Dexter, Lester Young. There was only a few of them that I did at first.
You said Grover earlier, but
yeah, Grover and Stanley Turntine.
Okay, got you.
You know, and sax players out there, don't sleep on Stanley Turntine, because he was the first smooth jazz sax player before there was smooth jazz.
Wow.
Now, when Grover came along, he really smoothed it out.
Right.
But Stanley Turntine, he wasn't playing all of those bebop licks. He was kind of making it a little more palatable for the average person.
Right.
So that's what I did, copying those guys. And that would be what I would tell my old self.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So that's my answer, transcriptions.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's big.
Yeah.
That's big. Yep. That's a lot, man. So listen, man, I appreciate you. Where can they hear Chop Horns? Like, first of all, we didn't go through really your resume, but just tell us like all of the different records they could hear Chop Horns or you on. I mean, if you can remember a few. I
can remember a few, but your best thing to do is to go to our website, which is www.chopshorns, all one word, lowercase s on both words.com.
Okay.
There you can see it all. We got started doing gospel on Savoy Records, all of those artists. We did 26 records for them. We did all of that Sugar Hill Gang stuff and Grandmaster Flash, boo-wee da 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 da, all them horn lines and stuff like that. All that Sugar Hill, all that stuff. That
classic
was us.
Stuff. Always still in the club.
Yeah. But the big one that I still hear today that gets me is Apache. Bam, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah. And then Will Smith and them did it on the Fresh Prince.
Please.
They played that over and over on there.
And who was it? SWV?
Yeah, SWV.
Yeah, SWV. Copy some lines, you know.
Oh, yeah. That was on Anything.
There you go.
Yeah.
They had that on their record. So those are two things. You can search the gospel. You can search the early rap stuff. We also made our way to Philly International.
Nice.
And we did the OJs. We were scheduled to do Teddy Pendergrass.
Wow.
We had the date. We had the recording date. 2 weeks before the date, the brother got in his accident.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So
let me ask you this question. This is, I'm sure, not as popular a thing. Do you recommend young horns to put together groups? Because I'm sure there's not a lot of people that's like forming groups, but you guys did that early and you see the payoff from it. Like, would you advocate for somebody doing that?
I think it's a good idea because success comes in numbers. You know, there are some people that have the type of personality where, you know, they don't want to do it with anybody else. They're their own superstar. And that's great if you have that kind of confidence.
Yeah.
But if you don't, find some folk that like to do what you do.
Yeah.
And there are a couple brass bands out there that are doing quite well.
Absolutely. Listen, man, I appreciate you coming. Thank you for dropping all of these wisdom nuggets for us. But definitely check out www.chopshorns, and I'm sure they'll see Mr. Doc Sugarfoot Watson somewhere, because you're still performing now, right?
Yeah, but lastly, guys, I've been threatening to put some smooth jazz stuff out for about 3 years. I'm almost 3 or 4 songs in, and it's getting real close. I lost a close female vocalist friend of mine that I worked with for almost 30 years, and it hit my heart in the way to say, man, you better put some music out. So
it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Man, so we look forward to that, man. And,
yes.
You can catch him and you can catch me. This is the Musician Shed Podcast. We'll see you for the next episode. See y'all later.
Thanks for listening. To stay up to date between episodes, follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you liked what you heard today, or if there's something specific you want us to dive into next, leave us a comment. Catch you in the next episode.